Hello, TI family. I'm Edwin Jones from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'll be reading a prepared statement to expedite my message and make it as comprehensive as I can in the least amount of time. I'm also wearing sunglasses, not to be cool, but I have cataracts and arcus senilis, and the glare on this computer screen is distracting and tired to me. I even wear my sunglasses at night, like the song says, when I drive to eliminate the glare. So I hope the glare doesn't distract you. I want to first encourage all targeted individuals to make a video of your situation. I have found that most conspiracies are impossible to prove because a conspiracy is secret by definition. Therefore, you should compile a totality of circumstances so compelling as to preclude any hypothesis to the contrary that a conspiracy is not taking place. At least you can raise a plausible argument. Now, remember, people want to call you crazy. So make it difficult for them to do so by accurate chronological documentations of events. And don't be ashamed to read it like I'm doing. Even presidents use teleprompters, and I don't have eidetic memory. My conversation doesn't flow like that. Plus, as targeted individuals, when we get off script, we get emotional. So reading the script keeps us on point. Now, in the last year and a half, the government's malicious and vindictive persecution of me has continued and indeed has picked up steam. And if you have not viewed any of my previous YouTube videos under Edwin Jones 1000, allow me to bring you up to date from the beginning. Now, at age 68, I had pretty much given up fighting the system after 29 years of being a targeted individual. But now that the government is using my son again to interfere with seeing my granddaughter, I drew a line in the sand. And now I'm going to make plenty of public noise so that if I never see her again, she will know what the situation is and that Grandpa did everything he could to see her and to bond with her. I will speak up until hell freezes over from this point on. Now, targeted individuals, especially men, I want you to pay very close attention. I've been a target for 29 years, as I said before. But this war also targets you too. Now, in 1989, I was falsely accused of rape by a casual acquaintance, a groupie, if you will, who had been over to my house before. Now, as an entertainer, I've always had company on the weekends. And the young lady I had in my house, who had been over there before, tried to rob me using my own kitchen butcher knife to attempt to murder me for a lousy $200. I had no reason to suspect that she was leaving the room to do anything other than go to the bathroom like she said. Now, it was 1989, gentlemen, and I had no idea what people would do for crack or what perps would do for the police, if that was the case, as I suspect. Anyway, I fought her off, disarmed her, tossed her out of my house. I was arrested 3 days later without the privilege of giving a statement. And the police also refused to take her fingerprints from the knife, which was still on the floor where she dropped it, and I purposely left it because I knew they were coming. Now, while in jail, my private attorney, Ali Talib, who I had considered a friend, informed me that the young lady's story was full of holes and she had done that before. And that's when I was really livid. My response was, what? So the police either knew what she was and sent her to me? Who did she do that to before and why? Now, I later suspected that I had been a TI even before 1989 because I sued General Motors in 1984 or 85 for a race-based layoff. It was the largest corporation in the world, represented by Barnes and Thornburg, the largest law firm in Indiana. So I was probably a targeted individual before then, but I really can't prove it. But I can prove everything that happened between 1989 and today. But at any rate, when my attorney told me that, I made a huge mistake by saying I will sue the police for arrest and detention without probable cause based on charges procured by the perjured testimony of the police, prosecutor, and the judge who I went to college with. And you don't say you're going to sue the police while you're in jail. So I demanded my discovery. My attorney gave it to me. I noticed that none of it was signed or in affidavit form or as required by law. And when I complained, he just quit. Now, the charges were unceremoniously dropped, okay, after 8 months, but not before I lost my job, home, car, family, friends, and landed in a homeless shelter for a year. Now, let's go back a minute. During the 5 months that I was in jail, however, the Indianapolis police spent 5 months running in and out of my home. They brought in household goods. They redid my taxes for over 10 years. They went through my entire file cabinet, removing receipts, stealing my firearms and money, and just in general creating a crime scene. I have been fraternally, family, and socially isolated. I've been prevented from securing employment commensurate with my education and world-class experience. And I've been refused any investigation by the media, elected representatives, and denied representation by all attorneys that I've contacted, even though I have proof in the form of state's own discovery that there's fraud and deceit in judicial proceedings. It's prima facie, but I can't get an attorney to take my case. So, pro se, I sued anyway all the way up to the United States Supreme Court, where they tossed my suit in the trash and mailed me a bogus decision. I've got a secret, people, that they do not really want to get out. So I ran for state representative here in Indianapolis, District 98, in 2002 and 2006 primaries on behalf of targeted individuals who have also experienced police misconduct and medical and dental malpractice, as I have. This is year 29 of being a target, and my life is still being manipulated. But about 1.5 years ago, the government took their tricks to a whole new another level. I have never experienced electronic harassment or DEWs or direct energy waves until last year. Let me explain that to you. I've had a walnut tree in my backyard for 25 years I've been here, and every other year, in the fall, it produces about 500 pounds of walnuts, and the squirrels come from all over the city and blanket my yard, my roof, and my gutter, gathering nuts for the winter. Not the year before last. When the nuts fell, they just sat there on the ground for months. And in the meantime, I uncharacteristically woke up in a bad mood every day. I put 2 and 2 together, put it on Facebook, and lo and behold, the squirrels came back and my mood improved. Social media works, people, so use it. And I still think I'm being bombarded with some type of electronics that keeps me irritable and prevents me from getting a good 8-hour sleep like I used to. Now, I've also formed a bond with my granddaughter, who is 8 this year, and she loves her grandpa. My son used to make time for him, her, and myself to visit me each week at my home. Then, for a reason that we discussed and put behind us, he brought it up and used it as a manufactured excuse in an argument. Then I didn't see her for 9 months. So I petitioned the state court for visitation, but was denied without a hearing. So I went over and made peace with him and started to see my granddaughter again. Several months later, the court reversed itself and said, oh, I was granted a hearing anyway. The court reversed itself. So I informed my son, because we were getting along at the time, to disregard the summons because that's the past. I'm not going to show up. He needlessly argued. It was a very strange response. Then we fell out again, and I haven't heard from him. I haven't seen my granddaughter since. But here's the deal, people. I won't be sucked into an angry response. So I'll just continue to write my granddaughter letters every month. I send her money with a self-addressed envelope so that she can write back. He has not allowed her to write back, and like before, has not acknowledged even receiving the letter or the money. Yep, he did that the first time also. But I still email him and offer him assistance, food if he needs it, or help in emergency. So I'm not going to fight his hate with hate. I can only do the right thing and hope for the best. So for the next 10 years, until my granddaughter turns 18, I'm going to continue to send her money, buy her that pink guitar that she wants, and later an electronic piano, and set up a savings account for her to access when she gets 18 years of age and can make her own decisions. That's a heck of a thing to accept, but I've got to accept it, and those things will always be here for her when she grows up. And I have accepted the fact that the government controls that situation, but they cannot control how I react to it. I have learned not to allow them to elicit a negative response from me, and it's important to me every day when I get up to remember the stories of Jesus, Job, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, JFK, and Malcolm X. They are all targeted individuals who also spoke truth to power and lost more than I have. So that kind of keeps me balanced. I continue to go to the nursing home that I play at, and they always ask about my granddaughter because she visited there once before. And I tell them, well, that's up to my son, and when the time is right, I guess he'll bring her around. I have communicated with I have accumulated a lot of friends and subscribers on Facebook and YouTube, respectively. And I suspect that the government wants to keep me from accumulating anymore, just like they want to keep all targeted individuals isolated, out of the public eye, and divided among ourselves. And both my accounts have been relentlessly hacked. Texts lost, messages sent in my name, all kinds of stuff that I can't explain or prove, but I thought I would mention that. I have also increased my performing at open mic nights to 4 times a week. And of course, the government doesn't like that. They want us to stay at home, brood, and isolate. Needless to say, I don't go out and pick up girls anymore at the club. I haven't had a girlfriend in 10 years or sex in over 6 years. I go make my music, and then I go home by myself. I study Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity, and I practice the best of all threes. Nowadays, I don't attend church or visit temples very much, and I take my limited knowledge of all three and just, use whatever helps me in that particular situation. And lately, Proverbs and the red print in the Gospels is holding me up in terms of behavioral control. I work out 5 days a week at the YMCA and suspect my time there will be tainted one day, but I don't let that bother me or negatively affect how I treat people. I realize that man will fail you. It is written. But now you'll like this. Allstate Insurance informed me last spring that I needed to replace my roof or my insurance would be canceled. And I thought, wow. I felt that if it was canceled, it would mysteriously burn down, making me homeless again. So I got a high interest charge card from Home Depot and contracted them to replace the roof. They took my $1,100 down payment and drug their feet, almost reaching the deadline in which I had to get my insurance, my roof replaced. And so I put it on social media, and the job got done. It was over $5,000, and I was struggling to pay it. A few months later, I was laid off from my job of 13 years, and that's no accident. Luckily, I have a small Social Security check coming in. Now, targeted individuals, when they take your job, that's meant to make you desperate enough or depressed enough to either steal or use drugs, respectively. And I shall do neither. Applied for unemployment. The unemployment office made filing very complicated. Some of my records were lost. My career counselor tried to mislead me on the importance of mandatory weekly meetings. I had serious questions concerning how I was instructed on how to fill out my weekly voucher. The state employees were telling me different things, but I got nothing in writing from the commissioner or a staff when I requested some answers. I wrote him 3 times before he even acknowledged receiving my communique. There was no doubt in my mind, and there's still no doubt, and there'll never be any doubt, that the state was trying to lay a perjury trap for me. I've also applied for state jobs exclusively, 46 at this time, on this date. The high-paying jobs that fit my education and experience are not offered, but I was offered 2 of the lowest paying jobs that I think were indeed employment traps. Fortunately for my dental problems, that precluded me from taking those jobs. They weren't really offered. I just told them I'm just not interested in an interview because I need implants and bone grafts, and those jobs would have fired me for missing work for medical reasons. I've seen it before. In addition, if I accepted the invitation to interview and I was offered a job and accepted, I know good and doggone well I would have been fired shortly thereafter and then would have lost all my unemployment benefits I paid into for 13 years. So, I know how the devil works. He uses the same tactics, he just sends different faces. Also, I have seen evidence that my home has been entered into. Deja vu. Things moved around or missing. My food, clothes, vitamins have all been displaced or wound up missing. I found a soiled pair of underwear once in my half-full washer. I found a 1974 $half in one of my toolboxes that wasn't there the day before. And these illegal, unconstitutional entries are meant to make me afraid, angry, or doubt my sanity. But nope, I won't let the devil into my spirit like that. So when I get home, I always say, honey, I'm home. I'm sure that there are audiovisual devices planted, and I don't care. I hope they enjoy the show. I'm sure the neighbors have seen their entry and exit. Deja vu again. Finally, and this is good. This is the last big thing that's happened recently. One of the open mic nights that I play at is a place called Sam Ash Music Store. The government seems like they want me in jail, or they want to prevent me from, playing there again. You see, on the 6th of March, an instructor there offered to give me free guitar lessons in a room where a Hispanic man and his son were sitting. Now, he had been patronizing me before, and like the Bible says, flattering lips worketh ruin. So I thought that was unusual, patronizing that, I was offered guitar lessons for free. But there was a purpose behind that. And I'll tell you. After a few minutes of him teaching me some guitar licks, the Hispanic man left the room with his son, but dropped a $5 bill. Now, listen, I was broke at the time, but I did the right thing. I picked up the $5 bill, gave it to my instructor to give back to the Hispanic gentleman. Oh, he hesitated and didn't take the money until I asked him 3 times. He really looked fishy. He took it, and when he came back, I asked him if the man got his money. He just said, yeah. He did not congratulate me for returning the money, and the Hispanic man, who was still shopping, did not come back and thank me for finding his money. And that's when I realized, they were trying to set me up to steal that $5. These games usually jump out at me right away, but this was a very sophisticated game. Now, the next week, on the 13th, I was gaslighted, shunned, and patronized at Sam Ash. They acted real strange. So I'm going back this Wednesday on the next open mic night. I'm going to speak to them, smile, and act as if nothing happened. I'm going to play my solo set and sing with this pickup group called Soul Struck that we formed, and sing some of their songs. But just remember, TIs, don't sink to their level. Do the right thing and shame the devil. Now, you will notice that they are frustrated, but at the same time, you'll also notice that you're feeling great. Now, be honest, gentlemen. Do the right thing and keep it in your pants. Life is easier and simpler when you do. I wish I had known that earlier in my life. Also, be realistic, because the powers and principles that killed Jesus, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X are speaking truth to power will no doubt terminate us, will terminate our existence. But I'm not going to make it easy for them, and neither should you. I'm going to die on my feet as a man, trying to do the right thing. So thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with me. And I'll talk to you later.